There's a man you would call the most disciplined person alive, and I need you to understand something about him. This morning, he did not want to get up either. He lay there in the cold, staring at the ceiling, every cell in his body voting to stay under the blanket. The difference between him and you is not the feeling. The feeling is identical. The difference is what he does with it. And by the end of this, you will know the one move that makes the feeling irrelevant. So let me ask you the question you have been avoiding. What if motivation was never coming? Not late, not low, just not coming. Ever. What would you do then? Because that is closer to the truth than the lie you have been sold. You have been told that somewhere out there is a feeling, a spark, a surge of want, and that once you find it, the doing will be easy. So you wait for it. You scroll for it. You watch videos hunting for it. And the waiting becomes the whole life, a long gray corridor of someday when I feel like it, and the door at the end never opens. Here is the core idea, and it is going to cost you a comfortable excuse, so brace for it. Discipline is not motivation that lasts longer. Discipline is what you build precisely so that motivation never has to show up at all. They are not cousins. They are opposites. Motivation is a passenger that begs for the warm seat. Discipline is the engine that runs in the cold. And almost everyone spends their whole life trying to start the journey by negotiating with the passenger. I call the thing the Stoics built the cold engine, a way of acting that needs no spark, no heat, no mood to turn over. And I want to show you how it was forged, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it, and you will never trust a motivational feeling the same way again. Marcus Aurelius ruled the largest empire on earth. He was sick for most of his life, at war for most of his reign, surrounded by people who lied to him and a body that was failing him. And one of the most powerful documents he left behind is not a battle plan. It is a note he wrote to himself on the mornings he did not want to move. You can almost hear the exhaustion in it. He tells himself, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, remind yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. Why should I complain if I'm going to do the thing I was made for? Is this what I was made for, to lie here warm under the blankets? Sit with that. The most powerful man alive had to talk himself out of bed like a tired teenager. He felt exactly what you felt this morning. He just refused to let the feeling cast the deciding vote. He started the cold engine. He moved first and let whatever motivation existed, if any, try to catch up. It usually never did. He did the work anyway. That is the whole secret, and it reverses everything you were taught. You believe the order is feel motivated, then act. The Stoics knew the order is the other way around. You act, and motion generates a little heat, and sometimes that heat becomes something that feels like motivation, but only after you have already begun. You do not think your way into momentum. You move your way into it in the dark, alone, with no applause. Write this down. Somewhere you will see it tomorrow. Motivation is weather. Discipline is climate. Weather is what happens to you today. Sunny, freezing, who knows? Climate is what you can build your life on year after year, because it does not lie to you. Stop checking the weather every morning to decide whether to live. Build a climate. The cold engine runs regardless of the forecast. Now, let me bring this off the marble and into your actual life, because that is where it has to live, or it is worthless. First, the scroll. You sit down to do the hard thing, and your hand reaches for the phone before your mind even decides. That is not weakness of character. That is you waiting for motivation to arrive, and the phone is the place you go to wait. The cold engine move is brutally small. You do not vow to focus for 3 hours. You start the timer and you do 1 ugly minute of the real work, badly, resentfully, with zero inspiration. Because the goal of that minute is not the work. The goal is to prove to your own nervous system that your actions do not need your feelings' permission. Win that proof enough times, and the scroll loses its grip because you're no longer waiting for anything. Second, the bad day at work. The project you do not believe in, the energy you do not have, the Monday that feels like wading through wet sand. Here, motivation is a coin flip, and most days the coin lands on not today. So you take it off the table. You decide the night before. I begin at this hour on this task, no debate. The Stoics called this living by principle instead of by mood. A mood asks, do I feel like it? And on a bad day, the answer is always no. A principle does not ask. It already decided. And that daily negotiation you skip, that exhausting internal courtroom where you argue with yourself every morning. That courtroom is where most people's discipline quietly dies. The cold engine never enters the courtroom at all. Third, the body. The training, the sleep, the food, the habits that decide who you will be at 50. This is where the lie costs the most, because health is built on the days you feel nothing. Anybody can train when they're fired up. The disciplined body is built on the gray Tuesdays, tired, sore, uninspired, raining, and the shoes go on anyway. Not because you found motivation, because you stopped requiring it. You put on the shoes and step outside, and that is the entire victory. The miles are a bonus. The proof is the point. And notice what these three have in common. In everyone, the move is the same. You start absurdly small, and you decide in advance. Epictetus, who was born a slave and built one of the steadiest minds in history, said no great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a figure. You want the fig? Then there must be time. First it blossoms, then bears fruit, then ripens. You are not behind for starting small. Small, repeated in the cold, is how everything that ever lasted got built. So here is the thought experiment. I want you to pick one thing, just one, tonight, not 10, one, and decide, right now, with a cold, clear head, while no feeling is involved, that you will do it tomorrow. Not because you will feel like it. You almost certainly will not. But because you tonight said you would. Then tomorrow, when the moment comes and every part of you reaches for the warm blanket or the bright phone, do it anyway. Tired, badly, resentfully, unmotivated. Do it, because that single act, the thing done without the feeling, is worth more than 100 motivated days. 100 motivated days teach you that you can act when conditions are perfect. One cold, unmotivated rep teaches you the only lesson that frees you, that you never needed the conditions at all. But here is what almost everyone misses, even the people who hear all of this and nod. They think the goal is to one day become so disciplined that the resistance disappears. That somewhere up the mountain, there's a version of them who wakes up wanting it every day, forever. So they're still, secretly, waiting for the feeling. They have just moved it further away and called it a goal. That version does not exist. It never has. Marcus felt the pull of the blanket until the day he died. The resistance never leaves. That is not the bad news. That is the freedom, because it means you were never broken for feeling it. The feeling was never the obstacle. Treating the feeling as a vote was the obstacle. So go back to the man from the beginning. The one who lay in the dark this morning with every cell voting to stay down. You know now why you would still call him to the most disciplined person alive. It is not that he felt more than you. He felt exactly what you felt. It is that he had built the cold engine, and the cold engine does not take a vote. It turns over in the dark with no spark, and it carries him out of bed and into the day he was made for. And the motivation, if it ever arrives to find the work already underway. That man is not a Roman emperor. That man is you 200 cold reps from now. So here is your one rule. The whole video pressed into a single line you can carry. Act on the decision, not the mood. Decide once in the cold, then never reopen the case. Let motivation come and go for the rest of your life. Let it. Build your discipline somewhere the weather cannot reach it. In the decision, in the principle, in the small, ugly rep you do on the empty, uninspired days. Do that long enough, and one quiet morning you will stop waiting to become a disciplined person. You will set one foot on the cold floor, then the other, and you will realize you already are. If this gave you something to stand on, subscribe. New Stoic wisdom every day. Don't wait to feel ready. The feeling isn't coming. Begin anyway.